Now with a look at all the latest stories making the headlines this evening with the ITV News at 10.
Britain, Canada, Australia, Portugal, and tonight France, Belgium, Luxembourg. One by one, many of Israel's allies are saying enough is enough and formally recognizing the state of Palestine.
Palestine exists. It has always existed, and it always will.
It leaves many questions, of course. What are the boundaries of this state, which its capital, and so on? But it's a big step and leaves Israel and America looking increasingly isolated on the world stage. Also on News at 10 tonight. Dropped by 6 charities, the scandal hits. Sarah Ferguson pays the price for the weekend's revelations. Under cyber attack from Russia, startling claims from the Chancellor. Jimmy Kimmel is put back on air after a huge free speech backlash in the US, and the writer of Peaky Blinders turns his craft to the story of Guinness.
We pretty much thought, I better do this quickly because somebody else will do it otherwise. Because the story is so amazing, all of the most wild, unbelievable bits are true.
This is ITV News at 10 with Tom Bradby.
Good evening. In the killing and the chaos of nearly 2 years of Israel's war on Hamas, the ideal of peace through a two-state solution with a separate Palestinian state has all but been obliterated, along with much of Gaza. This evening at the United Nations in New York, more nations have insisted on preserving that ideal. Momentum is building. Israel and its key ally, Donald Trump's America, are more isolated than ever. After Britain, Canada, Australia and Portugal declared their support for Palestine yesterday, tonight France, Belgium. Well, a simple map of the Middle East on a Foreign Office website this evening already shows the British government's recognition of a Palestinian state. For the West Bank and for Gaza, the word Palestine has replaced occupied Palestinian territories. But has anything actually changed for the people who live there and in East Jerusalem, Palestine's capital, if a separate state was ever agreed? Well, back here, the weekend revelations about Sarah, Duchess of York, calling Jeffrey Epstein a supreme friend after his conviction for underage sex is starting to cost her in terms of charity patronages. 6 have dropped her today over what she wrote to him. There have been a few clues to who might be behind the cyber attacks on Marks & Spencer, the Co-op and Jaguar Land Rover, but the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, left us in no doubt who she thinks is to blame: Russia. She told Joel it is a new and a growing threat. And Joel is here. Listen, this is pretty disturbing. What's the government doing to stop all these hacks?
Well, the Chancellor spoke of hostile states.
OK, Joel, thank you very much indeed. Now, in the past hour, British scientists have been injecting large doses of scepticism, I think that might be the understatement of the year, into claims made by President Trump this evening about what's causing the rise in children with autism. He says it's linked to taking paracetamol during pregnancy. Doctors here say autism is not determined by a single factor, and controlling pain and high temperatures in pregnant women is very important. Less than a week after the American television presenter Jimmy Kimmel was suspended indefinitely, he's back. His late-night show will return tomorrow. The ABC network dropped him after on-air comments he made about the response to the assassination of the conservative evangelist Charlie Kirk. And Dan joins us now to talk about all this. Dan, we know why he was taken off air. Do we know what precise factors put him back on air, and what's the reaction been? OK, Dan, thank you very much indeed. Well, Nigel Farage's Reform UK party turned its spotlight from illegal onto legal migration today, spelling out how in government it would eject hundreds of thousands already living here. He said Reform would scrap the system of indefinite leave to remain and make non-EU citizens apply for a 5-year visa with no access to the NHS. The government said it was a gimmick with no basis in reality. The Conservative Party called the policy unworkable. Well, the leader of the Lib Dems, Sir Ed Davey, said it was outrageous. In fact, a lot of effort at this week's Lib Dem Party conference is going into undermining reform in a battle to define Britishness. He told Robert that Nigel Farage is a threat to British democracy. Now, being picked to script the next James Bond would be a pretty big thrill for any screenwriter, and perhaps a bit daunting too. Stephen Knight's back catalogue includes Peaky Blinders, of course, and the game show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. As you might expect for a spy film screenwriter, he was being appropriately secretive when we spoke to him today. Bond is just the latest big brand he's worked on. He has a new drama about Guinness, the brewing family, not just the stout. Now, finally, 70 years ago tonight, on the first night of ITV, people watching the new channel saw the first news programme made by ITN. You could say things were done a little differently back then. The first face and voice were those of Sir Christopher Chataway, middle-distance runner turned journalist and later MP.
Q, Chris.
Good evening. The government is not going to grant automatic reprieves to convicted murderers.
Well, as a reminder of that first broadcast, we'll leave you with the theme music from that night 70 years ago. Good night, and thank you very much indeed for watching.
Not everywhere will be cold today. Some places will be warm and toasty. Heinz Beans sponsors ITV National Weather.
We had very fitting conditions for the autumn equinox today.